Okay, let's see. So first thing, I remember that there was a pull request open. So let's first pull that and see what do we have. So there are 4 of them. Let's merge this one. It's just a update to Faker. Move and merge. So that's a small dependency update. I don't think it will be problematic at all. So let's open Emacs and move this here. So I'm using Spacemax here as Emacs with some configuration. I think it's started to be popular. So here we're in this project. Let's pull the latest master after we pushed this update. So what I'm going to do is that I have many workspaces in here, editor, terminal, browser, and I usually switch between them. So you will frequently see this change, okay? Just not to freak out. Here we'll have a terminal open in the project code. This is the project code, and all the source code is in here, right? Let me increase the font size here just to make it easier for you. And we pulled the latest thing. Here we need to bundle to download the latest Faker gem. Here we go. And here's the thing. There is a PR here for tags, and this should be introducing the idea of tags to each Ruby function in the website. So if you go here, the idea, if you log in and you're trying to create a new function, you should see you add the usage here, the code, and then you should add some tags. And these tags can make it easy for you to navigate between functions. So here Ahmed started to work on it, and what we're trying here is to try to review it. It's been a long time since I developed it, so it's like a month now working on this. I think we should finish it today. So he changed 24 files. Let's see, we had some stuff here. So here he adds some CSS, and I'm not that convinced that we need it. So the first thing I will try to do is to pull his changes. So here from his branch, we went to his branch. This is it. I need to get his repository here and add it as a remote repository for my local one. So add and Nemo load, that's his username, just to identify it, because I have many remotes. Spacemax is asking me here if I want to make it as a default push. Nope, I don't want that because I have my own origin. So now we can fetch his branches. Now it's fetched, and I need to create a new branch from Nemo load and tags. This is the branch we need to work on locally, and here it is. So now I should have all his changes on my machine. So let's bundle just to make sure we have everything, and Rails db migrate just to migrate his changes. I think he introduced a new table and created a join table between functions and tags. So he created a table called the tags and then join table between the functions, tables, and tags. Let's start the server and see what he did, I just want to see it. So if we logged in, do I have any functions here? It says published functions 1. That's a bug. That's a bug. Does it exist in our master? Let me switch to master, restart the server just in case. And if I did that, yeah, it says published functions 1, and it seems that I didn't publish any functions. I can't search the current project because I don't have the... What is it that I'm using here? It's the silver searcher. Silver searcher. So it's easy. Okay, sudo yeah. Since silver searcher. Yeah. Silver. Yeah, that will be a lot. So there's a package here called AG, and this lets you search in a directory really fast. Yeah, that's a lot. Let me silver searcher. So this is a new virtual machine. This is why I don't have everything I need, and I'm discovering it on the go. So the silver searcher, and from Pacman, yeah, it's already there. Yeah, I think I missed. So this lets you search in the current directory. So you can say AG, and what we need to change is this number here is not correct. Published function. So published should give you where is it. And this is integrated with my SpaceMax. So if I try to search the project, published, it gives you that line. It's exactly the same output in here. So if I go there, here, we're trying to get the user functions size, which should be correct. But why does it give me two? Let me run the server again. Why does it give me two numbers here? Here and here. There is something different between functions. This is in function, this is in saves. Saves. View saves should give me this index, and then there we are rendering saves, and we are rendering this and this. So it seems that there is something in the layout, right? Like we have layout in the views layout. There is something different here. So if you are in the user's layout, there is user's actions, and then the user, and then the tabs here. The actions, which is not here because this is my current user, and then the user, and then tabs. And this is the user tab, users, tabs. So this should be correct. Why? You see, there is a link. If the current page is functions index, we make it active, otherwise we make it not active. I think we can do better here anyway. And then there is a link to the saved functions. And the published functions. Why they are in reverse? No. Title, save the functions. Yeah, there's that is copy paste. Okay. Published functions, and this is the save the functions, and this is the followers. First problem here, let's commit it. Fix the title for user tags. That's a totally isolated thing, you know. We changed it and push origin. That should fix this small thing. So let me make sure. So here when I open, yeah, saved, saved, saved. So that's not correct. Here now published, saved, follows. That's the correct one. All right. Okay, now why is this user function, the size is incorrect? I was talking about my user here. So when I go here, it gives me a different number. Why? Maybe I should work on count. Why size is different than count? What's the difference here? I thought it's synonymous for each other. Let's see the documentation, you know. So in Rails, there should be size for the relation here. Returns size of the records. And count. Count that it's defined some other place. But still why? Select count. Okay, let's open a console here. Get the user by param, and my username is mad website. Okay, from param. So this is a function I defined in this model. So if you look to the models user, you see to param and from param, and this is like converting the record to its username and getting the record from its username. So here's the user, and the user functions all. It doesn't return anything. The size returns 0. The count returns 0. So there must be another issue here. There must be another issue. There must be another issue. Okay. So yeah, it persists. There's something wrong here. Alright. Let's put a binding pry and see what happens. So here we are. So who's the user first? That's correct. And user functions size is 1. User functions is returning something. Why does it return something here? That's not right. Something created a new function in the controller of the functions. Oh, I think when we were trying to check the permissions. Okay, so here's the functions controller. And this is the action we are in now, the index. And this creates a new function. This is why we have a function in this array. Like I did that just to check for permissions. Create a new function and check for permissions. So I think okay, so if we created the function, so function new, and the user is the current user, this shouldn't be happening, right? Because the relation won't know about it. Let's exit from here. Let's remove the binding bribe. Okay. Yeah, that fixed it. So here we are trying just to check if we can list the function before the user. That's the whole idea of this. Although we already know that everybody can list the functions for this user, for any user, because it's like a read operation, but still, I would like to check permission for every action like that. Okay. Now fix this one. The tests running are spec. Yeah, it is running. There's a deprecation here that we can fix it. Yeah, but later anyway. Okay, so here we are. Fix the incorrect functions count for the user functions index page and push it. So I usually work everything in Emacs instead of like switching between a shell just to do the get operations, and I'm using Magit here. This window it's called Magit, which is a Git client, and what I do here is that I commit and push directly. That saves me a bit of time. So if you don't understand what I'm doing, or there are parts that are missing from you, maybe you can ask me, so we can have it as an interactive session here, because maybe you can help in the future with this project. Okay, if you'd like to help, that's a normal Rails project that doesn't need a lot of knowledge, because like even if you are away from Ruby or Rails for a while, if you get back to this project, it will work just fine. And you can find it here. You can find it in here. I will paste it to the chat if you want to check it. Okay, let's get back to the tags project, the tags branch. Now we are on the tags branch. Okay. So if we went here, that's of course not rebased, so it's fine. Let's try to create a new function here. The first thing I noticed here is that this doesn't have the usual theme for Bulma. So there is something missed here, right? So if you're looking for the views and function and the form, this is the form we are showing here, right? The new function usage tags list and code here. So there is a problem here. There is a problem. The tags list label, and then yeah, you see this field doesn't have the class. It should have the class for the input of Bulma. I can't really remember what was it, so let's look at the documentation. So if we're talking about the form input, so this class input, you see, if you don't put the class input, it won't apply the theme to it. It won't apply the style to it. So class should be input. That's better. So as I remember, there was this part of the code I've seen it in the changes that adds a CSS that just to make the whole input is like takes the whole width. See function tag list. I don't know why. Yeah, so this is in functions CSS. Let's remove it and see what happens. Functions CSS. So it's this part. So let's remove it. And if we came here, yeah, it's working. So what was missing here is just adding the class. We've been discussing it for a while, and I think it was as easy as that. So I will commit here to my local machine and then push it to GitHub and open a PR to his branch, and then he can merge it to his branch, review it as he wish. Then when he merge it, then we can merge his branch to my original repository, just to have one pull request that has all the changes required for this tag. Yeah. So here we removed this CSS and we added the class. What editor? I'm using Emacs, and this is the Spacemacs configuration. So GNU Emacs and then space max here. So that's what I'm using. It adds a configuration layer over Emacs that makes it easier. Now instead of writing your own configuration, which is a little bit exhausting, this adds a configuration layer. Let me also paste it in the chat, just if you want to check it. And my whole setup is just a virtual machine on Windows, just for streaming. And inside it, there is the Arch Linux, 64-bit, of course, and Emacs, and this is i3 on X11, and some other tools that I use usually. And this is Google Chrome, not Chromium. Yeah. Okay, so let's open the PR now, just not to forget that. So here from, yeah, I want to have it from my, no, I didn't push it. I staged it and then fix the input style and push it. No, I can't push to his branch, of course. What? How did I push to his branch? That's not possible. I can push to branches that has open pull requests. Really? I didn't know that. That's odd. I really didn't know that. So these are two different repositories, right? And I certainly think that he didn't give me permissions to do it. Yeah, okay. All right. So that was the first issue, the CSS. Let's resolve it. The second issue is this tag from param. If you're looking to this file, no, I didn't push already. No, I just pushed it, but it looks like I can push to branches that has open pull request to my repository. I think so. I think like when you're opening a new pull request, there is a checkbox there. I think this is the what did it. Anyway, here's the second issue. So this was getting the tag and then trying to raise record not found if the tag is not found. But the issue here is that when the tag is not found, this will return null, right? So let me show you. So let me open a Rails console here. And if you're trying to get a tag, let's say non-existent, so it returns null. So this part I selected here to return null, and then dot functions, which will say, okay, functions doesn't is not a function for null class. You see, like functions, it doesn't exist. So this will raise an error, no method error. So the issue here is that we had it in one line. What you need is to isolate this part and raise this custom error here, because this error would be caught and raise and show you a 404 page. So we need to isolate that and rescue from it by raising this other error. Okay, and then we can use it if it exists, like the other controllers. So we have in the controllers. So if you're trying to get a function, for example, you see the functions here. If you're trying to edit a function or something, here you're trying to get the list of functions for this user. So you're already using an existing user, which is assigned by this setUser function here. So here we get first the object that we depend on, and if the object doesn't exist, we raise the error. And then in the action we use the object to get whatever we depend on, like to get the function, the saves. And it's the same for the tag. So if you see the tags controller here, this doesn't have the same pattern we are using here. So we just need to make it look identical. Okay. So first you need to set the tag. So let's use exactly the same thing, the same naming, you see. So we are setting the tag, and here let's make a private set tag. Okay, using code formatter for what? Like SpaceMax already formats the code for me. Yeah, sure. I will try to say the shortcuts, but I'm using too many of it. So I will try, okay? So first, I'm using, just because also the shortcuts will be different from my setup to your setup, the default setup. Because Emacs is really customizable. So I will try to see the shortcuts I'm using, and then if it's different from your setup, you'll have to change it. The first thing is the leading key for SpaceMax for me is space. So when I'm trying to open a file, I press space PF to find a file in the project, space PF. Okay, and it shows here, like when I'm writing something, it will show up here in the echo area. Space PF, okay? Space PF, space project defined. So I opened this controller, and then I have this Emacs and Vim combination. So I have the Vim binding here, and when I get to the insert mode, I'm in the Emacs binding. Yeah. So right now I'm in the normal mode for Vim. So I can do insert with O, I insert a new line. I can delete line by DD. I can get into insert mode and press tab just to align myself to the line. And then I need to set the tag, which is I said just tag, and it's this part that we want to isolate into this function. You see this part here? This is what we want to isolate. And instead of using it, we are using the tag. Okay. Here If we didn't find the tag, then we need to raise the error here, or raise the not found error. Right? So we try to find the tag that we're trying to show. If the tag doesn't exist, then we do that. And just to get to the page we are talking about, I will insert something here like hello world and hello and test. And we'll define hello world here. And I switch it to the browser, just in case. I switch it to browser by pressing F3. So I switch between my workspaces by pressing the F and the number here. So F1 will get me to the editor, F2 to the terminal, F3 to the browser. So here, what's low world, all right? So this is how it works here, that you define a function, you create a function here, and here it's defined. Here are the tags, and when you press hello, it should go there and tell you, okay, here's the thing. Okay, so here is a problem here, that we should get it from params id and remove this from here, that we don't need. Okay, so here, sorry, I forgot to remove this all. Okay, so here's what's going on. We are listing all the functions for the hello tag. So that works now. And if we try to get to something that doesn't exist, it shows record not found, and in production, it will show an 404 error. Because in the application controller, I didn't rescue from 404? No, I remember I rescued from it. When record not found. So to search the project here, I press space and then the slash, forward slash. This lets me use what's it called, AG, to search my current project, and it's fuzzy search. So I search for, I'm trying to search for the exception here, which is record not found, and here we are using it everywhere. The thing is, I remember that I was rescuing from it, right? So here I can limit it to app directory. That will search only the app. You see, if you remove it, it will search everything, even the specs. But gapp will search only in the paths that include app. I remember that I was rescuing from, I didn't rescue from record not found. So if I went to rubyfunctions.com and went to something here and I tried to just change that, it gives me this. Yeah, we didn't rescue from it. Yay. Okay, rescue from record not found. It's active record not found. Active record with and not found. Okay, and then we can define a function not found here, and this will redirect to I think there is 404.html 404.html here on the public. So 404.html, I think that should work. So here this page isn't invalid redirect. Maybe I need to do this. Yeah, the page you're looking for doesn't exist. This is the 404 page for Rails, the default one. And I need to do that only in production. Why? Because I need to know that the error happened. When I'm developing, I need to see the error. So when you don't do that, and you come back to here, you see the error happening here. But if you rescue from it, you wouldn't see this error page, which you wouldn't know what's happening. So what I will try to do here is if Rails in production. And in this case, if you try to have an error, yeah, that will work only in production. A better way to do that is to have a configuration file that changes this value from one environment to the other, and then use the value here. So something like the config, and you can define something like rescue.yaml, okay? And then you can have development and record not found to be rescue to false. And then you have that same thing for test and for production, right? So what we need to do is to rescue from that only in production. So this. And here, instead of using this Rails in production, you can say Rails config for and rescue. And I think you can do it like that, right? Record not found. Oh, I switch between the last two buffers with a space and tab. You see in the echo area down there, you see what I'm pressing on. Space tab, space tab. It switches between the last two buffers. And if I want to, because I have two windows here, see this window, and to switch to the other window, I press space, window, and then the direction, which is J. Sorry, H, which is the direction, it's the Vim binding. So H, J, K, L are like the up and down, right and left. So space window, and then L will get me to this window. And then I want it to be the dominating window. I want it to be take the full screen. So I press W, space, and W and M. If you want to revert it, space W, M. See? You can switch between them. So here we need to get the record not found. Record not found. So as I understand it, this should work now. So this is false here. So when I'm doing that, viewing configuration, maybe I don't need this. It's already available. Wow. Okay, let's see, where is it? Rails config 4. It's in the application. Config 4 name. The application. So application config 4. Is that what it is? All right. Let's see here. So config 4. application config for an initialize constant application. Choose, was it app? Rails application config for, yeah. And then we need rescue, no such file directory, rescue.yaml. So he wants it to be YAML, and we have it YAML. So space F and capital R will rename it rescue.yaml, and it selected the YAML. I just need to press Control and J to get to the second option, and then enter to rename it. You see, file that successfully named to this. And if I did that, here it is. And record not found. There is an alternative to say what I'm pressing on, but it's really risky because I may run sudo or something and I need to write my password. So it's a plugin for OBS that tells you what's pressed, you know. But if I'm writing my password or something, it would be very risky. So I can't do this. So you'll have to keep reminding me to say what I'm pressing on. So see here, this is what we need. Okay. Let's Control Y to yank, and then Control K to kill to the end of the line, and the space FS to save. Save the file. You see, space file save space FS. Then when you refresh here, you see the record is not found. So if we turn it on, that it will rescue from it, like in production. I think I need to restart my server. It doesn't reload the configuration on the fly. Yeah. So this config for loads the file only once, even in development. So this is why you need to restart the server. So if I turn that off here and save, try to refresh, still rescue. If you Control C to kill the server and then Control P to get the last command, and yeah. I'm on 404 now. Yeah. So here, yeah. So that's the thing. So that's a better way to do it, and that reminds me that in this controller there is this sentry concern, and this includes the sentry concern only in production. What I need to do is something like this. But instead of record not found, like sentry. Report to sentry, just to make it more meaningful. And this, we need it to be here. In development, it's false. You shouldn't report to sentry. Also here, false. And in production, it's of course a true. Report to sentry, yeah. And if you restarted that, get in here. Okay. All right. So that's better. Let's see if we have any similar thing around the project. So I will search the project for env dot and production, for example. Here you see in the Rails helper, the Rails environment is running in production mode if Rails production. This is in the tests. I wouldn't change that. Here in the initializer, we configure Raven if it's production, and this is an initializer. I'm not sure if I can use application config for and rescue report to Sentry. Sorry, report to Sentry. I hope that works. Like, it's an initializer, so to test it, I need to kill it and run it again. Yeah, it's working. Okay. So, that part shouldn't be part of the changes here, right? Is it? Yeah, because we were trying to have the record not found, and but this is the only thing that's related to this branch, the tags branch. So let's switch back to master. Okay, let's put this in the stash, which ZZ will put the stuff in stash, and we can BB to switch to master, and then ZP to pop from the stash. So you see it failed to do something. So needs merge. Something needs merge, yeah. What I need to do is, instead of popping everything from the stash, I need to pop certain files. So let's abort this merge, I think with I don't want to do that. So merge abort. So I think can't abort it. Wow. Space GS to get the get status deleted by us. So let's this is staged. Okay, we unstaged this one, so these are the ones that are staged now. The changes we need to handle the not found, record not found, this and this. The thing is, in test environment, that shouldn't be happening, right? Shouldn't be happening. So I wouldn't change the configuration just to test for that. That's fine. Can't we just make 3 files for 3 Rails environment and load them based on the file name? Yeah. Yeah, we can make it 3 files instead of 1 file, and the thing is, this is a feature already in Rails, right? Like in Rails, you already have this config for, right? And this config for will load a file in config / and then the name you put it in here. And by default, it gets the current environment. Yeah. So you can still do that, or you can make it a directory / and then the environment name. So you can still do that. But config for is already a feature in Rails. I've seen people implementing that in their project, but it's already in Rails, so you don't have to implement it again. So I will commit that to my master, and here handle record not found exception in production. That's fine. I used to implement that before it was part of Rails. I remember this is introduced in a new version of Rails, probably Rails 6 or something. I think so. So let's push this one. Yeah, I see Imad is talking about using Rails in directly, but the problem with Rails in is that if you decided to add another environment like staging, then you will have to get in the code and handle that, as in the Rails environment is production or staging, okay? And if you have another sandbox, you'll have to production or staging or sandbox. And so that's the problem. So you shouldn't be changing the code to reflect what you need, right? Like you can isolate it to a configuration file, a YAML file, and then just go into all the configuration files, because you'll have to do that for the database, right? So if you have another environment called staging, you'll have to add a environment file for it, and then no, because yeah, it makes a lot of noise and it's really distracting. So if you have another staging environment, you'll have to create an environment file for it, and you'll have to create another section for it in the database configuration, and go into all the configuration files and have a configuration for this new environment. So if we edit this line in that controller, you will have to change the configuration file and then search the whole project if we're handling anything special in production. So if you have it in the configuration already, then you'll have to change just the configuration files. No? So this is why it's better in here. Yeah. Let me I forgot to add the YAML file. So I have to amend. This commit was already published. Yeah, it's all right. And then force push. That's my branch. It's my side project, so I can force push as I wish. P F, yeah. I need to force push to origin master, right? Did I stop myself from pushing to master? I think so. Did I do that? Yeah, makes sense. Protected myself from my future self. Okay. So what will I do now is can I just rebase to origin master? Yeah, I can just rebase and it shows me that, and then I can push it. Okay, now let's get back to the tags. Looks like we BB to switch to a branch, and it tells me it tells me that I have this. I need to like ZZ to the following untracked working tree file will be override by the checkout. So let's just delete this one. So X to trash it. Y just there it is. We already have it here, right? So what we need is BB to tags, and we need to pop this one, which is ZP. Pop stash. Okay, so we popped it here, and we don't need this too. We just wait. We don't need this controller because we already did it, and the initializer we don't need it. What we need is the changes to the controller here. Okay. Changes to the controller, and you go here, it tells you there is something wrong here. Okay. There is another issue here, is that you don't know which tag you're looking at now. So you need something that tells you, okay, this is the hello tag, and that's Should be like a title here, right? Like a title. So let's see this view. It's tags. Okay, so in the views, there is tags, and there is, I think it's the show. We are rendering the functions right away. I think we can just add a header here. So it's h1, and this should be because we have the tag name, right? We have the tag already set from the controller here. Looks like h1 is not working, and this is something that I still don't understand quite well in Bulma. Like if you used the h tags, like the headers, it wouldn't apply. You have to, where is it? There is something here like in typography. So in the typography, you have to say this is size 1, size 2, size 3, and so on. So let's see. So this, here, sorry, class, and is size 1, for example. When you get here, what we need to, this is the tag, hello, and maybe we can say how many functions are there. We can say tag dot functions size. Yeah, that will tell you all like the count of the functions, but this is too big, right? This is too big. That's too big. So let's see what we can do here. No, I remember I added some helpers here. So to split the screen in SpaceMax is space W, and then you want to split it horizontally or vertically. So I want to split it vertically, so it's V. But if you want to split it and switch to this new window, it's capital V. So you split and you add the focus in here. And then you can find another file. So space pf, you need to find a file, right? And I remember there is a CSS file, the app slash, there is spacing. And these are some helper classes that adds margin and padding. So what I need is a margin to the bottom. So what I need is margin bottom, and it uses the size of it. So it's small, medium, large. So let's see what the medium looks like. Here it is. Yeah. So that's enough for me. It's enough. I think we already have paginations, so let's here say that this isolated getting the tag to a private function. This is a separate commit, and I added this line. Why is this different here? Why is that different? Maybe just a space? It added a new line at the end, because that didn't have any new lines. The problem with having files without new lines at the end is that when you open this file for editing and then you add a new line at the end, you didn't just add a new line at the end, you added a new line. You added a new line at the end, and you added the new line character at the end of the last line. So the changes in your diff will be the last line and the new line. While if you have already a new line at the end of the file, you just added some characters after it. And this is why always GitHub complains when you don't have a new line at the end. So if you look here, that that was the view, right? That was the view. So in the view tags, like in the views tags, and it's in the show. You see, it always tells you this here. You see no new line at the end of the file because of this reason. Because when you add a new line after that, like when you're trying to edit and add a new line, you will have this will be changed. That will appear in your dev. So that's a little issue. So this is why it appears here. So it's a stage it with S and CC to commit. And this is adding a title to the show page, to the tags show page. And I will push it. I think what's missing here is that, so what's missing here is the index. I remember there was something. Here in the seeds, you don't need all of that, right? You don't need all of these changes. Let me show you. So in the seeds, so see what he did here is that he created tags and then assigned random tags to every function. But already his function, you see in the model function, it already accepts tags list equal, right? So instead of creating it with empty tags, you can have tags list, and here you can just say whatever tags you need. I think he used faker here, which is really nice. Here. So so 20 times. Now just let's create 10 tags, or let's create it here. Here, this part. This part can be created here, right? And then when you're creating the functions, you can just get tags, sample, and a random 3 of them. Right? So you don't need to create it here. You don't need to iterate on the functions again. That's all. So 20 map, and then he removed all the dashes because we don't accept dashes. We accept only underscore. So he removed all the dashes and then unique. You don't need to split it, it's fine. So here he created all the tags, like as in a selected like handful of tags, 20 of them, and then you selected 3 of them for each function, like random 3. So if I try to Rails db drop db create or setup, this should create some functions with some tags. Undefined method function for strip for array in line 24. Yeah, looks like there is a bug here. Is it? Oh no, it accepts the tags list as string. So you need to join. It's a comma separated string. So if you see it now, name has already been taken. Wow. But it's find or initialized by this. So why? That's another bug here. Looks like if you created another function. So let's see. Here's the function, and I want to use this hello. Okay. Let's start the server, and let's comment out that. Let's comment it out. It's another issue. Why there is another issue here? Okay, let's drop and setup. Yeah, sure. Okay, I should be getting for lunch now, and I will continue maybe in an hour. So we'll fix this bug and enhance the seeds file and make sure everything is fine here. And then we can merge this pull request and we'll be done with it. But I need to go and have some food now, and we can see each other after an hour. So maybe around 2:20. Yeah, like my time now is 1:19. So after an hour we can continue. Right, guys, see you.